Hey there folks, welcome back to the Spooky Channel, where we bring you the spookiest and most fascinating stories from around the world. Today we're going to take a thrilling ride through the history of amusement parks. In fact, some have fallen to disrepair and ruin, leaving behind only a faint memory of their once glorious past. So buckle up and get ready to explore with us as we unveil the top 10 scariest abandoned amusement parks that will give you goosebumps. Let's go. Boomer's Dania Beach. Have you ever heard of Boomer's amusement parks? With 7 parks still operating in California and Florida. This once thriving company was a staple of the amusement park industry. However, the number of parks that the company operates today is only a fraction of the number it operated during its prime, as at least 11 parks have closed in recent years. One of the most famous of these parks was the Dania Beach Park located in Fort Lauderdale. This park was home to the Hurricane, which was once the largest wooden roller coaster in Florida, towering at 100 feet and stretching over 3,200 feet. Interestingly, this ride was not owned by Boomers and was instead run by a third party. Unfortunately, the humid climate of Florida increased the maintenance requirements of the wooden coaster, and it became commercially unviable. The Hurricane was closed in 2011, and the rest of the park followed suit in 2015. For several years, the abandoned site was left to crumble and was overtaken by fast-growing trees and shrubs, creating a hauntingly beautiful scene that urban explorers couldn't resist capturing. Dania Park, Belgium. First opened in the 1950s as a small playground to entertain the children of visiting pilgrims. Dania Park in Musselin, Belgium underwent a program of redevelopment in the 1970s, including new attractions like a huge monkey bridge course and water rides, which brought in visitors from far and wide. At its peak, the park saw over 1 million guests annually. However, as tastes changed, the park's popularity waned, and years of underinvestment resulted in the rides becoming more and more dangerous. In 2000, a young boy lost his arm on a Nordic jet ride, and the park never recovered, permanently closing within 2 years. While most of the larger rides were dismantled, many of the other structures were left in place and have now become overgrown. The occasional metal railing in the relic building offered the only evidence that it used to be such a busy park. Despite its eerie state, it has become famous within the urban explorer community for its relative ease of access and unusual objects that remain, many of which have religious influences. However, due to the increasing number of people trespassing on the site, the authorities have begun demolishing more of the buildings. Plans are now in place to convert the site into a hiking trail. Six Flags New Orleans. Now an abandoned theme park that was hit hard by Hurricane Katrina, originally called Jazzland, this amusement park was taken over by Six Flags in 2003, and they had big plans for it. But unfortunately, Hurricane Katrina flooded the park, causing millions of dollars in damage. The floodwaters took a month to recede, leaving the site completely ruined. Now, the park is covered in graffiti, infested with rodents, and overgrown with vegetation. But that hasn't stopped urban explorers from flocking to this popular destination. It's even been used as a filming location for some big movies like Jurassic World and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's crazy to think that this place was once a thriving amusement park with rides and attractions that entertained over 1.5 million visitors each year. But now it's a haunting reminder of the devastation that Hurricane Katrina caused to this city. Join us as we explore the remains of this once great theme park and uncover the secrets that lie within its decaying walls. Joyland, Kansas. Step right up, thrill seekers. Joyland Amusement Park, the crown jewel of Kansas attractions, was once the place to be for roller coasters and carnival games. With classic rides straight out of the 40s and 50s, including the unforgettable wooden coaster. Nightmare Joyland entertained generations of visitors since its grand opening in 1949. But in 2004, the park's fate took a grim turn when a young girl fell from the decades-old Ferris wheel. An investigation revealed that many other rides and structures were unsafe, forcing the park to shut down for good. Today, Joyland stands abandoned, with only a few fires and overgrown vegetation to show for the years since its closure. But hold on to your hats, folks, there may still be hope. In 2018, the park was sold for just under $200,000, and there are whispers of plans for a grand renovation and reopening of the legendary Joyland. Will the park once again light up the skies with dazzling lights and sounds of laughter and screams? Only time will tell. Wonderland China. Once upon a time, amusement parks seemed like an easy way to make money. Wonderland in Beijing, China wanted to cash in on the trend and become the largest amusement park in Asia. It seemed like a solid plan. They even copied what worked elsewhere, but the construction phase proved to be problematic due to financial irregularities, causing work to halt in 1998. In 2008, they tried once again but failed due to further financial difficulties. The dream of completing the project was shattered. All that was left was the shell of a castle and incomplete structures that became an attraction for people to imagine what could have been. Local farmers reclaimed their land and began to grow their crops there. The once magical world turned into nothing but a shell of what could have been. Eventually, the authorities demolished the remaining structures in 2013, and now a shopping mall stands in the place where the castle once was. Nara, Dreamland, Japan. The entrance to Nara Dreamland was marked by a huge castle, an artificial mountain, and a bustling main street full of stores and games. This amusement park was Japan's answer to the famous Disney theme park in California, intentionally built near the city of Nara in 1961. The park was an instant hit, attracting almost 2 million visitors annually at its peak. Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse when Tokyo Disneyland opened its doors in 1983, followed by Tokyo Disney Sea and Universal Studios Japan, all within 30 miles of Nara Dreamland. The park's visitors' numbers plummeted, and after 45 years of operation, it was forced to close its gates in 2006. By this point, the site had received so little investment and maintenance that rides were beginning to rust, and the castle had been declared a safety hazard. In the 10 years leading up to its full demolition, Nara Dreamland became more like a nightmare land as nature began to reclaim the site. Foliage grew through the paving stones and the tracks of the rides, buildings crumbled and rust took hold everywhere you looked. Dinosaur World, Arkansas. Hey there, dino lovers, have you ever dreamed of walking among the prehistoric giants and experiencing Jurassic Park in real life? Well, it turns out that such a park already existed, long before the movie franchise took the world by storm. Welcome to Dinosaur World, a 65-acre amusement park located in Beaver, Arkansas, that opened its gates back in 1967. With over 100 life-size statues of dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures on display, Dinosaur World was the largest dinosaur park on Earth at the time. It even had a section dedicated to mythical beasts, featuring the world's tallest King Kong statue that towered at a whopping 40 feet during the 1970s. However, as time passed, the park statues remained in place, surrounded by overgrown vegetation, creating a lost world that seems to be frozen in time. Today, Dinosaur World is more interesting than ever, and exploring the abandoned park feels like a thrilling adventure. So come with us and join the journey as we walk among these extinct monsters and take a step back in time. Yongma-land, South Korea. This is the story of Yongma-land, the abandoned amusement park in South Korea that has found new life in its decay. Built in the 1980s, this park was a tribute to pop culture icons of the time. But by the time it closed in 2011, attendance had dwindled due to competition from modern theme parks and rumors of hauntings. Rather than demolish the park, the new owner saw potential in its state of decay. For a small entry fee, visitors can explore the eerie remains of the park, including a rust-covered octopus ride, stacks of broken Dodgem cars, and a collapsing Viking ship. For an extra fee, the haunted merry-go-round lights up in the evenings, attracting those seeking a spooky thrill. The park's faded colors and broken machinery had even been featured in K-pop music videos and hired out for film shoots. Yongma-land may be the only abandoned amusement park in the world that's still open to guests, and it's become a one-of-a-kind attraction for those seeking a creepy experience. Spree Park, Berlin. First opened in 1969, Spree Park had a towering Ferris wheel that was a huge draw for visitors. But it wasn't until after the reunification of Germany in 1989 that the park really took off. With huge investments, they added roller coasters, water rides, and even themed village areas. It was the place to be in the 90s. However, the lack of transportation to the park made it difficult to attract enough people to cover the huge investments, and the park was forced to close down its doors in 2002. Some of the rides were even shipped to Peru in hopes of opening a new park. Now the buildings are falling apart and nature has taken over. It's a creepy, eerie place but still manages to attract visitors for performances, festivals, and movie screenings that benefit from the spooky surroundings. Although there are plans to renovate the park and reopen it in the future, for now, it remains a haunting memory of what once was. So come along with us as we explore the abandoned wilderness that was once Berlin's Spree Park. Camelot UK. Forget about the Round Table and the legendary sword Excalibur. Let's talk about the real Camelot, a theme park that existed in England from 1983 to 2012. Upon entering, visitors were greeted by a grand castle and a plethora of rides to choose from, all inspired by the tales of King Arthur and his knights. However, in 2012, the park faced a difficult decision and was ultimately forced to shut down due to declining visitor numbers. Some rides were sold off, but most were left standing, and now the abandoned park stands as a creepy and eerie reminder of what once was. Plants have taken over and the fantasy structures have begun to decay, making it feel as if you've stepped into a forgotten piece of history. The decaying buildings may give you chills, but it's impossible to resist exploring and discovering the secrets that might be lurking around each corner. Who knows, you might even stumble upon your own Excalibur. Thank you for watching the Spooky Channel. We hope you've had a great time and learned something new or had a good laugh. If you enjoyed it, please show your support by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. We have more exciting content in store for you. And if you have any thoughts, feedback, or inquiries, we'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Keep your curiosity burning and take care until our next encounter.